Alright, so a few days back, one user reached out to me. He was asking basically how can we create this quick contact static menu inside a Figma. This is something that will appear to you even if you scroll through the website. Now I am going to show you how to do it in Figma thanks to using Frames for Figma add-on and a CSS tokens to stylize those things. But I just want to tell you that you don't need to use those tools, but it will be a little bit easier for you to do if you do so. So let's head over to Figma. This is the Frames for Figma add-on file. And what I want to do first is to actually build that quick actions menu element. So I'm going to head over to the website templates, and I'm going to click on the custom components. This is basically the space or the page where all of my custom components can live. So let's look back what we actually need. So as we can see, this is a menu consisting of an icon, label, and a divider. It's all wrapped inside a vertically positioned wrapper. All right, so let's build this. I'm going to start with the title. Let's just call it a contact. We are going to rename it to the label. Now let's add an icon. Now Frames for Figma add-on comes with an icon library, so I can just search, for example, for the phone, if I can type correctly. I think this will be good enough. Let's select both elements, wrap them inside an auto layout, and rename it to menu item. Perfect. Now we can apply some ACSS spacing variable for the gap. Let's go with space extra small. Okay, now I'm going to wrap the menu item inside another wrapper. Let's call it sticky menu. And as you can see, Figma automatically applied some padding values as well as a gap value. So for the padding values, I think we can increase those a little bit. So I'm just going to apply the space small token, which looks pretty good. Now I'll just press enter, and now we can just duplicate it 2 more times. But as you can see, it puts these things horizontally. So shift enter to select sticky menu, change the layout to vertical. And now you can see that the gap between those elements is not enough. So let me apply some ACSS variable for that as well. Maybe we can go with 20, and that looks nice. And now I think we also would need a divider. But before we do, let's just stylize this a little bit more. So for the sticky menu background, I am going to use primary ultra light variable, then press enter 1 more time. And as you can see, it selected every child element. Now just press tab, and we have all the labels selected. Now for the labels, I think I will want to go with the primary dark, which will look pretty good. And for the icons, we may want to use something more simple, maybe primary semi-light. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we want to actually add a divider between those items. So I'm just going to create a new frame. Let's make sure that the height is set to 1 pixel. Let's rename it to divider. And maybe we can adjust the color of it to primary light. Command X to cut the element, select the sticky menu, and we are going to paste the divider inside of it. Now you can see that the width changed, and that is because this divider has a fixed width, and we do want to change it to fill container. All right, let's position it to between the elements. It looks good. Let's duplicate it 1 more time and press down arrow key to position it below. All right, now it looks pretty good. What we also want to do is apply some border radius on top left and bottom left corners. So let's just go with the global radius here and the global radius here as well. And what we also might want to do is to apply some box shadow. So maybe box shadow M, just to give it some depth. Now, if you would want to, we can change the labels. For example, this could be info and this could be news. And of course, with that, we want to change the icons as well. So for example, for the info, we might want to do something like this. And for the news, we might want to do something like this. That looks pretty good. As you can see, the alignment is a little bit off for the labels, and that is because the text is left aligned. So let me quickly fix that. We want to center the text alignment. All right, the sticky menu looks pretty good. What we want to do now is to create a component out of it. So Option Command K, and we have a component that we can reuse later on. What we want to do now is to build a really simple page. So let's head over to a final design, and I'm going to search for a site builder component, paste it in. Now wrap it inside an auto layout, rename it to desktop, and let's just remove the padding that comes automatically by Figma. By the way, I hate that I have to do this, but there is no way around it. And we also want to set width to hug content. Now press enter to select the child, duplicate it, change the type to, for example, hero. We want to choose hero alpha. Let's duplicate it 1 more time. Now we want to choose, for example, features. Where are the features? Here they are. You can change the features to something else. It doesn't really matter right now. This is just for a demonstration purposes. So let's go with this. Now let's duplicate it one more time. And for this, we may want to choose, for example, pricing. Maybe this one or this one. All right, this one looks pretty good. Duplicated last time, and for this we are going to choose the footer, and that looks pretty good. Now what we want to do is to double check, so Option Command Enter, which is going to open the presentation view inside Figma. And if we scroll, as you can see, everything looks pretty good. So now we can actually start by adding the quick contact menu element. So I'm going to search for it in our assets menu. Let's type the sticky menu. You can see the component is here, so I'm just going to paste it in. Let's cut the component, select the desktop layer, paste it in. Now, as you can see, it pasted below the footer. What we want to do is to position it absolutely. So in Figma, what you want to do here is to click on the Ignore Auto Layout. This is basically the same thing if you would go to the CSS and type position absolute. Now, once we do this, you can see that it overflows the frame. What we want to do now is to position it right inside the middle of the frame. And let's go and align it to the right. Okay, so now if you would take a look in the preview, you would actually see that it's exactly in the middle of the homepage. And this is not what we want to have. We want this to be always in the middle of the screen, even though if I would scroll through the website. So how to achieve that? First, what we need to do is to set the fixed height for our wrapper here. So I'm just going to click here and set the fixed height to something like this. All right, and then I'm just going to click on the clip content, which is going to hide the overflow layers. Let's zoom in. Now you can see that the sticky menu is positioned in the middle of the home page, which is great. But if you would go to the Figma presentation view, you would actually see that we cannot scroll through this layer. So what we need to change is to go back, go to the prototype view and set the overflow to vertical. Once we do that, we should be able to scroll. So let me double check. And yes, indeed, we are able to scroll, but as you can see, it's still not perfect. The sticky menu is still not sticky. So what we need to change is to go back, select our component, and in the prototype menu, you can see that the position is set to scroll with parent. This is not what we want. We want to set it to fixed. Now, if you go to the Figma presentation view and I scroll through the website, you can actually see that this quick contact menu is actually positioned as a sticky element. It's always visible, even if I scroll through the website. So that is it. This is a really quick tutorial for you guys, and I hope that helps. See you soon.